There are moments in the world of celebrities that seem almost too ordinary to become a story, yet somehow, the smallest detail can ignite an enormous wave of curiosity. A glance, a familiar silhouette, a shared departure, a vehicle leaving at nearly the same time, or two people appearing to move in the same direction can suddenly become the center of thousands of conversations. That is exactly the atmosphere surrounding the latest alleged sighting involving Zhang and Tian Xiwei after what is being described as a Valorant-related outing. What appeared to be a simple moment after the excitement of gaming has captured attention because fans believe the two may have returned together. But there is an important detail hidden inside all the excitement. The available claim does not establish what actually happened between them. What viewers believe they saw and what can genuinely be confirmed are two different things, and that uncertainty is precisely what has made the moment so fascinating. Imagine the scene after a long, energetic evening. The atmosphere has begun to change. The bright excitement associated with the event or gaming session is fading, people are gradually leaving, conversations are becoming quieter, cameras are being put away, and the crowd that had been watching every movement begins to disappear into the night. Somewhere in that transition, attention reportedly turned toward Zhang and Tian Xiwei. Instead of a dramatic public interaction, the alleged moment is much more subtle. That subtlety is what makes it so compelling. There is no confirmed declaration, no unmistakable announcement, and no verified statement explaining that they deliberately chose to leave together. There is simply an alleged sighting that has encouraged fans to look more closely at every available detail. And when two celebrities have already attracted enormous public interest whenever they appear in the same environment, even an ordinary departure can feel significant. Fans begin asking questions that seem simple but carry enormous emotional weight. Were they actually together? Did they leave at the same time? Were they simply attending the same gathering? Could their paths have crossed by coincidence? Was there something happening away from the cameras that nobody else was supposed to see? These questions are not answers, but they explain why the alleged footage has generated so much curiosity. Sometimes uncertainty creates a stronger emotional reaction than certainty because people begin filling the empty spaces with possibilities. The mention of Valorant adds another layer to the story because gaming creates a completely different atmosphere from a formal red carpet appearance or a carefully organized promotional event. In a public appearance, celebrities know the cameras are watching. Every pose can be prepared, every smile can be part of an official moment, and every movement can happen under a carefully controlled schedule. But a gaming environment can feel more casual, spontaneous, and relaxed. That difference is important because fans often become especially curious whenever celebrities appear to step outside the polished world of official events and into something that feels more ordinary. That is why the alleged return has become such a talking point. The interesting part is not necessarily whether two people were physically near one another. The deeper fascination comes from the possibility that the moment may have happened after the public-facing portion of the evening had already ended. Once the lights begin to disappear and the official attention moves elsewhere, viewers naturally wonder what happens beyond the frame. The camera may capture only a few seconds, but those few seconds can create an entire universe of speculation. There is something emotionally powerful about a departure because leaving often feels more personal than arriving. An arrival is usually public. People expect celebrities to enter an event, greet cameras, pose for photographs, and acknowledge the crowd. A departure can be quieter. It can happen after the excitement has settled, when people are simply trying to get back to their own schedules. If Zhang and Tian Xiwei were indeed seen leaving in close proximity, that ordinary movement is exactly what has drawn attention. Not because it proves a relationship or confirms a hidden story, but because it gives fans a tiny glimpse into a moment that feels less rehearsed. The internet, however, has a way of transforming tiny moments into major events. A few seconds of footage can be slowed down, replayed, cropped, analyzed, reposted, discussed, and interpreted from countless angles. One person notices a familiar outfit. Another notices the timing. Someone else focuses on who appears to be walking nearby. Another viewer believes the body language looks meaningful. Before long, the original moment has become surrounded by layers of interpretation that may go far beyond what the camera actually shows. That is where the emotional tension begins. Fans are not simply watching a clip anymore. They are trying to understand a story that the footage itself may not be capable of telling. Human beings naturally search for patterns. When two familiar faces appear in the same place, people instinctively connect the dots. When those two faces have already attracted attention together in the past, the desire to connect those dots becomes even stronger. Yet the most responsible way to look at the situation is to separate what is visible from what is assumed. What is visible, according to the claim, is an alleged moment connected to their departure after VALORANT. What remains uncertain is everything beyond that frame. There is no reliable basis here to declare that they intentionally returned together, that they spent private time together afterward, or that the moment proves any romantic connection. Those possibilities may be discussed by fans, but they remain possibilities. And sometimes the most captivating stories are precisely the ones where the truth has not yet been revealed. There is also something intriguing about the way Zhang, Linghe and Tian Xiwei continue to generate attention whenever their names appear together. Whether they are appearing at the same event, being discussed by fans, or simply becoming part of online speculation, their shared presence seems to create an immediate emotional reaction. People remember previous moments. They compare appearances. They revisit old interactions. They look for continuity. One new sighting can suddenly make people reconsider moments they had previously ignored. That is how a seemingly ordinary night can become a much larger conversation. The alleged footage does not exist in isolation. It arrives in a world where viewers already have expectations, memories, and theories. For some fans, the possibility of them returning together may feel exciting. For others, it may simply be an interesting coincidence. Some may see nothing unusual at all. And there will always be people who interpret the smallest gesture as evidence of something much bigger. The difference between those perspectives is exactly what keeps the conversation alive. Perhaps the most fascinating detail is the silence surrounding the moment. When a situation becomes widely discussed but no definitive explanation immediately appears, the silence itself becomes part of the story. People wonder whether there is anything meaningful behind it. They wonder whether an explanation will come later. They wonder whether the people involved even noticed how much attention the moment received. But silence should not automatically be interpreted as confirmation. Celebrities often have many reasons for not addressing every rumor or every piece of online speculation, and the absence of a statement cannot tell us what someone privately thinks or feels. Still, from an entertainment perspective, the moment is undeniably intriguing. Picture the transition from the energy of gaming to the quiet outside. The bright screens are behind them. The sounds of the event are fading. People are moving toward exits. Vehicles are arriving and leaving. The night feels completely ordinary to everyone involved. Then a camera catches something that viewers later interpret as significant. In real time, it may have lasted only moments. Online, however, those moments can feel almost endless. Every replay changes the emotional experience. A viewer watches once and sees two familiar celebrities. Another watches again and notices the timing. A third watches without sound, concentrating only on movement. Someone else begins asking whether the sequence really shows what people claim it shows. The uncertainty becomes addictive because there is no definitive answer sitting conveniently at the end of the clip. And perhaps that is the reason this alleged moment has resonated so strongly. People are not only interested in where celebrities go after an event. They are interested in the possibility of seeing something genuine in an environment where so much of celebrity life is carefully managed. Fans crave moments that feel spontaneous, even when they cannot know exactly what happened outside the camera's view. A quiet departure can therefore become more emotionally charged than a staged photograph because viewers imagine that it might reveal something unplanned. But there is another side to that fascination. Zhang, Linghe and Tian Xiwei are real people living under intense public attention.